Hi, my name's Janelle and welcome back to Rosery Apparel. Today I'm hoping to start a really fun sewing project. Hopefully it's going to be a fun project and not a frustrating project. Basically, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I spent a big chunk of time in Japan last year, and while I was there, I obviously did a lot of fabric shopping, and in some of the fabric shops and in a lot of bookshops over there as well, I happened to find these amazing pattern books. Basically, they're books that are just full of a heap of different Japanese sewing patterns. So you get like a little preview of the different patterns at the start of the book. Then you have all the instructions on how to make the garment. And then right at the back, they have the actual pattern template pieces. I knew when I went over to Japan, I wanted to get my hands on some sewing patterns while I was there. And then when I found out you could get a whole heap of sewing patterns in one book, I ended up just buying as many as I could get my hands on. So yes, in this video, I'm going to be attempting to make one of these Japanese sewing patterns. There was a lot to choose from, but I've just had a quick look through, and honestly, the two I'm most drawn to are the two that are on the cover of both of these, hence probably why I picked these particular books up. This one here is like a beautiful balloon sleeve blouse with a really high collar. I just think that is beautiful. I love the gathering along the bodice. The other item I am considering making is this sailor collared dress. I feel like this one will fit really nicely in my wardrobe because I'm very much gravitated to dresses in this particular style. But what I love about this dress is that the skirt is pleated, which is something I haven't really dabbled in that much. I'm gonna think about it for a few minutes longer because I'm still not 100% sure what I want to make out of those two. But the fabric I'm going to use to make whatever I end up deciding to make is this beautiful caramel linen that I picked up while I was in Japan actually, which I think is really fitting. This is like my perfect ideal fabric. I love this caramel color. I also love working with linen. It's my favorite type of fabric to work with, I think. So I'm very excited about this project. It's going to be, yeah, like I said, a bit challenging. Luckily, they all do have quite a lot of pictures, so that should help me when it comes to actually constructing the garment I'm going to be making. I am going to drink my cup of tea and have a bit more of a think of which one I want to actually make. I think I'm leaning more towards the dress just because it's such a statement piece and will be perfect for this time of year. And I do think the blouse is just beautiful in a more potentially neutral color. Yeah, let's finish my cup of tea and then it'll be time to suss out the template pieces. Okay, so I have just unfolded the pattern pieces that have the sailor collar dress on them. As you can see, it is quite hectic. They've squished as many pattern pieces as possible onto this piece of paper, so they're all kind of overlapping, and yeah, it's tricky to know exactly what pattern piece is what, but they do have them all lettered. So I'm looking for H, because that is the sailor collar dress. And then I have a list here of all the pattern pieces I need to make this garment. So that's very helpful. So now I need to get my tracing paper out and then trace out all of the pattern pieces that are needed for garment H. Look how cute it is though. This gives you a much better look at what I'm making today. It's just so different, so Japanese, almost reminds me of Sailor Moon. I also got Matt to have a flick through the different pattern books and he also picked this dress, so this is definitely the one. Have I done the back of the bodice? Oh, I have. Okay, so we're looking for, that's the the collar, that's the back of the bodice, that's the front of the bodice, pocket, facings. Okay, we're just looking for the back of the collar, which I think that's it. Okay, so I have now traced out all of the pattern pieces, which did take a while because it is just so chaotic trying to find all the pattern pieces, but I think I found them all and I think I've traced all the correct pieces I need for this dress. I did just want to touch on how the sizing works. So for this dress, and I'm assuming all the garments in this particular book, it's just one size. So it's like a one size fits all situation. So from what I can see here, it's saying that the length of the dress is going to be from the shoulder to the bottom of the dress is going to be 118.7 centimeters long, and the bust measurement is of the finished dress is going to be 98.6 centimeters. Yeah, but on me, the bust is going to be quite roomy. So it's either going to be a really oversized fit, like a tent dress almost, which I'm not against. Like, I like that style. It's super comfy. But alternatively, I could just sew the dress with a bigger seam allowance than they suggest. So the seam allowance is actually marked out on the template pieces, and it looks like it's going to be about 1 centimeter, the seam allowance. So I might go 1.5 centimeters just to like bring in the sizing a little bit, and hopefully that won't interfere with the pleats when it comes to doing the skirt. Not sure how that's going to work. I might just stick to what they've got, see how it goes. This is all an experiment and I do not have the patience to do a test run first. I am a jump in and make it work as you go along type of person. So now it's time to actually cut these template pieces out, and then it'll be time to cut out the fabric. So yeah, let's get started on that. Okay, hopefully you can hear me okay because it is pretty echoey down here at the moment. But I have come down into my work in progress sewing space that I am currently in the process of doing up. And to be fair, it still has a long way to go, but I've decided to just put my cutting table in here for now because the space is so lovely and light now that it's been painted. Like, as you can see, the sun's coming up now. It is so light in here. It's lovely lighting for filming. But also it's the only space in our house that has room for the cutting table right now. So I thought I'd just pop it in here for the time being so that way I can actually use it, because it is really handy to be able to cut on a table instead of cutting on the floor all the time. I have decided to come down here to cut out my fabric. I'm really hoping I have enough fabric to be able to make this dress. I'm right on the edge, like in fact I'm about 30 centimeters less than what they say I should have. So yeah, I'm a bit concerned I'm not gonna have quite enough, but I could potentially go with a different sleeve template if I don't have enough fabric, or I could shorten the skirt slightly, things like that. Like, I think there are workarounds. Pieces for the bodice, including the collar and everything, and I'm just laying the skirt piece down now, and as you can see, hopefully here, it is a bit too wide for the width of my fabric, which means technically I don't have enough fabric. But what I think I'll do, because this is going to most likely be quite large on me, I'm going to just cut out the skirt pieces as the width of the fabric, which means this last little pleat here is going to have to be left out, unfortunately. That means the skirt will be slightly smaller, which means I can bring in the bodice slightly, so it will just be a little bit more of a better fit on me. I'm really not confident when it comes to pleats, so I don't know if leaving out that pleat is going to cause issues. I'm not 100% sure, but I imagine just having the 4 pleats instead of the 5 isn't going to be that big of a deal. We'll soon find out anyway, but yeah, I'm just going to cut this as it is, and fingers crossed it's all going to work out. I kind of can't believe it, but I managed to cut out all the pieces out of the fabric I have. Like I said, the skirt is going to be a little bit less wide than what the pattern suggests, but I even managed to scrape the pockets out of the fabric, so I'm super happy about that. Now that they're all cut, I'm actually going to leave it here for today, and then yeah, I think first thing tomorrow, it's time to start sewing this dress. So day 2 of working on this Japanese sewing pattern. I am so excited to get started and actually get into the sewing process today. So far this morning I have just interfaced the facing pieces with some lightweight fusible interfacing. That just kind of gives the interfacing a bit of structure and therefore gives the neckline a little bit more structure as well, like ever so slightly. So basically, to start off with, we're going to be making the bodice of the dress, which I think I'm most excited about because I'm really keen to see how this sailor collar looks. We need to sew the bodice backs and fronts together along the shoulder, and then at the back of the dress there's going to be a cute little keyhole detail, which is how you're going to be able to put the dress on and off over your head. I am literally just going off the pictures, which are super self-explanatory for now anyway. Don't know how we're going to go with the pleats later on for the skirt, but may as well just get started on the bodice, see how we go. I think it's going to be a pretty easy project, which is good. So I got to work on the bodice of the dress, starting by stitching the back and fronts of the facing and the bodice together at the shoulders. I then overlocked the raw edge of the facing and neatened it off by pressing and stitching the overlocked edge in by about 1 centimetre. Next, I got to work on the collar of the dress, again starting by stitching the front and back together along the shoulders. And then I hemmed the entire outside edge. I have sandwiched the collar in between the facing and the bodice, and I will be stitching along the neck edge to piece them all together. There is going to be like a little cut at the back that's going to create a keyhole detail so you're able to put the dress on over your head. So yeah, I need to draw out that line onto the facing before I actually stitch it, so I know exactly where I'm going to stitch around and cut. Once the keyhole opening was marked out onto the facing, I then stitched the layers in place, making sure to stitch along the marked out lines. This was honestly pretty tricky and quite fiddly to do, but I just took my time with it and made sure I didn't sew over any unwanted layers of fabric. once the layers were all stitched in place, I then snipped down into the keyhole opening, and I also clipped the curved edge of the neck opening, making sure to not accidentally snip the stitching. Oh dear. Okay, really sad news. I have made the biggest possible mistake right now. I've put the collar right sides together with the bodice, and what I should have done is had the wrong side to the right side, like this, and only the facing was supposed to be the wrong side facing up. So now I need to unpick this, which is devastating because I've already snipped it. I don't even know if it's going to be possible, to be completely honest, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna unpick it, carefully try to match up the cutting as closely as possible. I might have to make the neckline a bit bigger so I can stitch around it again. This is devastating. I'm so upset. Okay, crisis averted, I think. I've stitched the facing back in place with the collar facing the right way this time. I didn't really film anything because the stakes were too high. I just had to concentrate and make sure I did it properly. Now I need to fold the facing into the inside of the garment and press it all in place, and hopefully it will look okay. What a relief. It's looking fine. It's actually looking really cute. Don't know if you can see the back. Hopefully you can see a little keyhole opening there. I feel like the sleeves are going to be coming off the shoulder quite a bit because the shoulder is way off my actual shoulder. Not sure about that yet, but we'll figure that out now, I think, because I think we are up to the sleeves. Yeah, so I just had a closer look at the pictures and it's definitely a drop shoulder, which really looks nice with this style of dress actually. I have stitched these folded cuffs in place and they're looking so cute, which means the bodice is complete. I think this caramel linen is the perfect choice for this style of dress. It actually comes up really faded on this little camera screen. It's hard to show you exactly how it looks, but hopefully I can get some shots of the dress later and get the color looking as exact as possible because it is truly such a beautiful color. So now it's time to start working on the skirt of the dress. I'm most nervous about this part because of the pleats. Like I said, I am not very confident when it comes to working with pleats. I've never really done it before, and I think the pattern is saying to attach the pockets before actually doing the pleats and actually stitching the skirt front to the back before doing the pleats, but I actually think I'm going to do the pleats first, then attach the back to the front, and at the same time I'll attach the pockets as well. Okay, so I'm back downstairs again because I feel like this job requires a bit of table space. I've put one of the skirts on the table here and I've got the template piece that I took from the pattern, and then I need to copy the markings onto the fabric so that way I can mark the darts directly onto my fabric with my water erasable pen. And then I can take it up to my iron and then fold one marking to the next, and that will create the pleat. Okay, this was maybe a bit of a mistake. It's just started pouring with rain outside, and now I have to bring my camera and my fabric back upstairs without it getting wet. Maybe I'll just bunker down here for a little bit. Oh, it's so cozy though. I do not know what I was worried about. Pleats were so easy. I think if I was to do them again, I wouldn't use the pen. I would actually just put pins in where they're supposed to go and then match the pins up, just because now I have all these pen lines I have to get rid of. I think these pleats are looking great. It suits the linen fabric so much because linen does have that little bit of structure that some fabrics lack, and the pleats just work perfectly with it. So now I need to stitch the pockets along the sides, and then I can stitch the front to the back. And then we can attach the skirt to the bodice, which is hanging here nicely. I don't know how this is possible, but somehow the bodice is exactly the right size for the skirt. Even though I had less fabric and skipped a whole dart, I don't even know how that's possible. But I'm not complaining about it because it means now I don't need to do any tweaking. The bodice is just gonna fit perfectly into the skirt, which means I'm almost done. I just need to attach the bodice, and then I'll need to just hem the dress, but I think I'll try it on before hemming just to make sure it's at a length that I like. So yeah, let's do these final steps and finish this dress. And the dress is finished. Oh my goodness, it is so cute, so unlike anything I've got in my wardrobe currently. It definitely is very oversized, so I'm thinking I might add some little waist ties just to cinch it in at the waist a little bit, but I am obsessed with it. Let me put some shots in now so you can get a good proper look at it. So I hope you enjoyed watching along as I attempt to make a Japanese sewing pattern. This dress is just so different to any other dress I have in my wardrobe, and I absolutely love that. I also love that I had a go at pleats because it's kind of opened my eyes to just how easy pleats are to do, and I actually really love the look of them, especially with a linen fabric like this. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more of these types of videos. I could make a whole series of these making Japanese sewing patterns because, like I mentioned, I have quite a stack of these sewing pattern books and I have so many garments I want to try. If you enjoyed this video, then it would really mean a lot to me if you could give it a like, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you aren't already for more sewing type videos like this one. Have a lovely day and thanks for watching.